Record. Share screen. Screen. Is that a check? Yeah. Okay. The article I read in the New York Times was How do Women Feel About Women's History Month? Conflicted. This pandemic's racial reckonings, economic hardship, and next impossible year have made this March particularly fraught. I am Dario Borrego. This is a Psychology of Women class in the spring of 2021. No, I guess I have to click on it. It's not in presentation. I am. Oops. Oh, God, I can't say anything now. There from the beginning. The article summary. Okay, this article is asks multiple women in power about how their feelings of Women's History Month. It asks, how do you feel about it? And they may give their opinions. They explain that, well, it is worth celebrating. It is good that many things have been accomplished. There's also very, very big issues still yet to have gone over. Inequality still exists. Still, not at the same time, there are now women of color in office, but not all of them. A lot of them still particularly go to males and white males at that. So this leaves many women feeling conflicted. Some saying, yeah, it's really good that we're celebrating. Others saying that it feels kind of like an empty celebration because it doesn't really go over everything. That's the article right there, the link to the article. And let's keep going. Okay, the event course concepts. We're going to be going over in chapter 1, feminism riding the waves, the section of it. Chapter 2, just sexism. In chapter 9, being a mother. And chapter 10, the pay gap. Let's keep going. In chapter 1, feminism riding the waves. Here we see where specifically is quoted in the article. It says, historically, celebration of women's were not celebrations of all women, black queer women, black trans women, black poor women, black disabled women. Let's do what generations prior either didn't know or didn't care to do, and celebrate all black women of past, present, and future. Okay, so before we go into how the article goes fully over, let's talk about what feminism riding the waves itself is. The book, it explains that feminism, has not always been. It wasn't just one movement. It feels like multiple pushes. At first, it was mostly, used by white women, and eventually it became more inclusive. It added more, black women. There also people with different socioeconomic classes. It added different religions and all sorts of different people overall, different women, obviously. Um, it was inclusive, like it says there, and a lot of people argue that right now, or some say we're in a retraction because currently there is a stop to the movement in a sense. It's not moving forward like it used to. Others say that this is a fourth wave that is pushing forward, just preparing to. Okay, chapter 2, sexism. Chapter 2, this part I talk about ambivalent sexism, which is how it explains that within sexism there's currently it's two things at once. Both benevolent and hostile sexism exist within the general umbrella term of sexism. Hostile sexism is the usual type of sexism one expects. General hatred for women, things like, oh, women are inferior to men for X or Y, general bigotry. Now, benevolent sexism is a little more complicated because it's sort of it's putting women on a pedestal, but also using it to put them down. For example, saying like, oh, women are too good, women are amazing, but they're too good for a job like that. They can't afford to do the same job as a man because they're too delicate. They're too good for that kind of job. They can't do it. And these are both bad because they both make it so that women cannot, move forward. They can't do whatever they want to do. It's still what someone says they can or can't do. While benevolent may seem better than hostile because it allows, it says that women are, good as opposed to hostile, which just straight up says they're bad. It still forces them to live by a label, not be themselves. In the article that's gone over by, it says discriminatory policies blocked women from fully participating in our country for generations. It led to disparity in wages, representation opportunities that we're still lacking. This goes over what we said with benevolent hostile sexism. There were many situations in which they're like, oh, women are too good in nature. Women cannot afford, to be in power. A woman is too good. They wouldn't know how to deal with a foreign country, acting in such a way. For example, like right now we have many women in power, like the Vice President Kamala Harris. In the past, we were like even benevolent sexism. Oh yeah, she's a woman. She wouldn't know. She's too good. She's too nice. She wouldn't be able to crack down like against Congress. She wouldn't be able to stand up for herself when she needs to. Things like that is what we was suggesting in the article. It's an issue that still needs to be tackled and pushed forward because while we've made progress, there are still many discriminatory policies that while they previously blocked women are and some are blocked and taken down, some are still blocking women moving forward. Okay, next. We go over chapter 9, being a mother. In chapter 9, a lot of research in the book that asks and explains about how, okay, starting with when a woman's pregnant, many places do not have uh, leave. They don't have maternal leave. They force women to, have to take their own time off, count off sick days, do such things that it's clearly an act against the women themselves, but it's disguised as, oh, there's no paternal leave either, which both, as explained in the book, are a problem. This leads to many, well, this is something that's gone over in the book where it says choosing between work and family. It says that many women are forced to face that choice because they either have to give up on having a family so they can fully focus on work, or have a family and then have to try to juggle both things at the same time. This explains all these cases where women have to take less time off. They're not able to put as much time to work because they have to raise the kids. This is both an issue within the workplace itself and with the way the society view the woman's job as taking care of the kids as opposed to the man's. Because oh, the man is able to go and fully put time to work, but the woman has to stay home and take care of the kids. Like we were saying, there's a lack of programs for it, and this was explained in the book that when women are mothers, they're seen as less preferred for a position. Men, on the other hand, are seen as more reliable, more trustworthy, which is an inherent bias that we have within our society. The article says we need to acknowledge that raising the minimum wage $15 will be more effective to support working mothers. As I explained, well, these mothers, they have to both deal with raising children and working. A lot of the jobs, maybe minimum wage, and they cannot afford. Well, they cannot afford to really have the time they need with their kids. So it puts them like things like have to put them at daycare, and they're never able to see their kids or raise their kids as much as they want because they have to fully work because their jobs don't pay enough to make a living salary. That's the kind of thing that is addressed in the article. So 10, the pay gap. Overall, everyone's aware the payback exists. It's like the 70 for every dollar a man makes, it won't make 70 cents. It's also something called the vertical field, something on the science in the book, that explains how there's a pay gap between the fields that are mostly worked by men and mostly worked by women. Things like the care field is an industry in which women are the most prominent. Job of caring such as teaching, like working at daycare, taking care of kids. That general field is mostly worked by women, and it is a field that is one, an industry that is looked down upon, and two, a field that is paid a lot less than other fields. As it says, very similar to what it says in the book, the article itself says women make up the majority of the caring industry, an immense set of invisible profession that operates on a thin margin and are one disaster away from collapse. As we said, women are the majority of the people working in this industry, and it's an industry that many look down upon. It's an invisible profession, and it's thin margin because the people there aren't really paid that much. They're paid below like the average for other similar jobs. As such, it is one disaster away from them being able to work, losing their jobs, and such having the whole field just collapse. For future considerations, one, continue the feminist movement. Well, some say we're in a recession. Some are celebrating, oh, this seems to be made. We still need to keep moving forward. There are so many things that haven't been fixed. There's still solutions to be found, issues to tackle, issues that we might not even notice right now. Sort of like, a few like decades back, they might not have noticed issues that we're noticing and tackling now. We have to address the inequality of the pay. Why is that somebody in field X can make this much, and then a field like the care field, which is mostly women, makes so much less? We have to improve programs to support working mothers. Have a way to legislation that forces jobs to make it so the woman can work and be a mother at the same time if they so wish to be. And as feminism wants to do, you have to keep expanding the umbrella of feminism, helping everyone that can be within it. Different religion, races, classes, so on and so forth. That's it. Final considerations. It's interesting to see an article like this because you get to not just hear about the issue, you see somebody explain the concept word by word, like the issues with it. Okay, that's all.